Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Shampoo here at Anime Central, and I want to give a shout out to Tekking 101. He just made a video about how he got into anime, and I thought it was an interesting topic, and it's something I actually want to talk about as well. Great video, man, and you're right, suit jackets do make everything better. Look like a boss. But anyways, guys, let's get into this. How I got into anime. I've been watching anime for a long time. My father was in the military, so when he would go overseas, he would send me like these animes. At the time, I didn't know. I was real young. I was like 3, 4 years old, 3, 5, 4 years old, whatever. And I still remember the first anime that I ever seen. It was Chirin no Suzu, aka Ringing Bells. It was a story about like this lamb that lived on this farm and everything, and there was this wolf that came in and started, that would come in like on certain nights and prey on the lamb and stuff. It was a family kind of anime movie, but it had very like mature like undertones to it and everything. I recommend anybody to see it if you really want to see like an anime classic. And I seen that and I was like, wow, man, I love this movie. Me and my brother would always watch it. We would watch it all the time. Love the music and everything. But then, that didn't really get me into anime. But he would send me these animes periodically. Some dubbed, some, but a lot of them were subtitled. And eventually, I go to even as a young kid, I would go to New York with my family and everything. And when I was up there one time, my uncle took me to go see Akira in the movie theaters. It came out there. It was like 88, 89, I believe, and it was actually showing over there in a movie theater. And I went there. He was like, "Hey, man, you want to go watch this movie?" Because he was an artist. He loved to draw and stuff and everything. So he was a fan of anime as it was at the time. So he took me, and I remember coming into the theater and being like, wow, what I just saw was amazing. Like, I loved that. At the time, I didn't really understand everything about the movie, but it was just so astonishing that I was like, wow, man, like, this is awesome. And then when I came back home here in Virginia, I was like, man, like, I gotta see more of this. Like, I really have to see more of this. And even at that time, I don't believe that I got into anime. I was just more curious about it at the time. So like I tried to do whatever I could, and at the time I was going to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster was like the only place that I knew that had anime for me to get at the time, And around that time, the internet wasn't big or nothing like that. The internet didn't really exist at all, really at much. Dial-up was like right around the corner and stuff like that. But I would go to Blockbuster and I would rent some anime here and there, and I would watch stuff. But there was one time I went to Blockbuster and I wanted to rent a game. And on the way to go to the game section, I ran across the VHSs, because around that time, VHSs were out. And I ran across Ninja Scroll. Now, I looked at it. I looked at the cover. I still remember it to this day like it was yesterday. I looked at it. I was like, wow, it's a blue cover. It had Ninja Scroll on it. It had Jubei Kibagame on it and everything. It had Kageto on it. It had the 8 Devils of Kimon. I was looking at it, looked at the back. I read the little synopsis they had of it, and I was like, man, like, I have to see this. Like, I really want to see this. So I went there with my dad, and I was like, Dad, can you get this for me? I want to get this. I don't want to rent a game or anything. I just want this. So he was like, sure, I'll get it for you. So we bought the movie, and came back home. I instantly went to my room and put it in my VHS player, my VCR, and I started watching it. And after it was finished, I was completely and utterly amazed and blown away. Like, I saw that at that very moment, I saw what an animation could really be, and what it could provide a true experience to a viewer. And even at a young age, I was like, wow, man, like this is groundbreaking. This is amazing. And I was fortunate enough to have parents let me see stuff like that at that time, and I was like, man, I like, and Ninja Scroll is what got me into anime. You know, it's, no, let me turn on this light. It might not be light enough. There, that might be better. But Ninja Scroll is what really got me into it, and I loved every second of it. And I was like, man, like, people have to see this. And then my uncle that's lived in Virginia, like, you know, he was always open to seeing new things and everything. So hey, uncle, you have to see this movie. You absolutely have to see Ninja Scroll. Like, you are going to fall in love with this thing. So I gave it to him, and he watched it. I gave it to him that night because before I gave it to him, I watched it like 3 times in a row. And then I gave it to him, and then he came back the next day and gave it back to me. He was like, "You're right. This movie was amazing." He was like, "Oh my God, it was bad." He was like, "That movie was nasty," and stuff like that. And I was like, "Yeah, man, that movie was awesome." And then from then on, like, I just was really into anime. Like, I was always trying to find like new sources of anime, but the only place I could really go still was like places like Blockbuster. And then I was going through, I was scrolling through the TV one night, and then I found out that the Sci-Fi Channel around that time was showing anime on Saturday nights at 9 o'clock to like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, it has the same style and everything, because I always knew that it wasn't made from in the US. I always knew it was Japanese animation because like I said, my dad would always send me stuff from overseas when he would go on his cruises and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is awesome, man. So every Saturday night, I would always watch anime on the Sci-Fi Channel. They would show Akira, and they would show all these other animes like Vampire Hunter D and all these other anime movies and stuff like that. And I instantly fell in love with it. And then, throughout the years, it was kind of like a ripple effect. I would always like try to find different places where I can, find anime. I saw like animes like Record of Lodos and stuff like that, the OVAs. And I just got deeper and deeper into it. And I've been watching anime for a very long time now, ever since the young age of like 3, 4, 5 years old and stuff. And, and I really felt like anime was like at the time, was like an untapped source of just fantastic entertainment. And I wanted everyone around me to really know what anime was, and really get into it. I showed it to my brothers and stuff. Mom and dad at the time, they loved it and everything. And to this day, majority of my family loves games and anime. Like, even to this day, my uncle comes over and he's like, "Hey, you heard any new anime? You got any new anime that you bought?" Stuff like that. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, check this out, check this out, check this out." And that's pretty much how it kind of trickled out from there. And then eventually, the internet with broadband and stuff like that. And then I found out, that you can go online and watch, anime streaming and stuff like that on YouTube and Crunchyroll and, places like that. So, Ninja Scroll is really what got me into it. There were other animes throughout the time that I watched also that kind of like projected me in further into it, such as shows like Dragon Ball Z, Ronin Warriors, stuff like that. Things you would watch like before you would go to school or something. And then Toonami hit, and I loved Toonami. I would watch like Outlaw Star and stuff like that, and all the shows that they would show. But at the time I didn't really watch like Yu Yu Hakusho and stuff. But as time went on, I eventually was like, what, let me check out Yu Yu Hakusho. Let me watch Full Metal Alchemist and stuff like that. And anime is from what Ninja Scroll like showed me, from what Akira and Ninja Scroll showed me, it truly impressed me. It showed me that there was entertainment outside of the US that was phenomenal, and you really have to check it out. You really have to really get into it and really see these experiences that anime provides, and they're fantastic. That's pretty much all she wrote. And since then I've seen many great things. I've seen and one thing is my favorite anime, Berserk. I remember I was in high school and I had a friend that he was into anime a lot, and I was over at his house. We were playing Halo or whatever. It was me, him, and like 2 other people were playing Halo on split screen and stuff. And I was like, "Hey man, you see like you ever seen Berserk? Like every time I go to Blockbuster, I see the DVDs there to rent, and you know I always pass it up and I get something else for some reason." And then he looked at me. He was like, "Yeah, Berserk is amazing. You have to see Berserk. Berserk is awesome." And even when he told me that, I still didn't go there and rent it. You know, I still didn't check it out. It didn't happen till like years later, like 6-7 years later, until I actually watched Berserk. It was probably like 4 or 5 years later, something like that. And then when I saw it, I was completely blown away. And then, you know, Berserk really showed me that, besides Akira, Ninja Scroll, and all the other anime that I've seen, Berserk showed me that anime is a forerunner in entertainment. You know, it's something that can rival live action movies, video, high produced video games and everything. And then, from then on, just kept watching anime all the way to this day. You know, anime is a part of who I am. It's one of my main hobbies, and I can't say nothing less than I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could take it as a figure of speech or whatever, but I love anime. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Just like I love basketball and stuff like that, basketball and gaming and stuff. I love anime. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video hasn't went on too long. Guys, check out Tekking 101. He makes manga chapter reviews. He does anime rant videos and such, and he does a lot of other cool videos on his channel. One more thing I will say is that I never really got into mangas. I always seen them when I went to the stores and stuff like that, but I've never got into them. When I went to comic shops and stuff, I never picked them up and really read them and try to get into them. I've just always been a fan of the visual audio representation of the mangas, which is anime. So that was me, man. And that's pretty much it, guys. Throughout the years, I've watched some fantastic things, which is why I do the videos that I do on my channel, such as doing recommendations for the best anime movies and shows, the anime rap music and stuff like that. So it just is what it is. But anyways, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching once again. This is Shamplu here at Anime Central, and that is pretty much how I got into anime. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.